Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, Episode 5, Deux Amours. This translates to Two Loves. Just want to throw out a quick content warning for self-harm. Just to be aware, in this episode, Daryl and Laurent travel to the nest as Isabel considers her options. Also, Jeanette enacts her plan. This episode is directed by Greg Nicotero, written by David Zabel, and it stars Norman Reedus as Daryl Dixon, Clemens Poissy as Isabel, Louis Puech Squiglisi as Laurent, Laika Blank Francard as Sylvie, Eric Ebenot as Falo Bukar, and Anne Sherrier as Jeanette, who is the leader of what I like to call the Gorilla Boys. Uh, so I want to say this episode, first of all, I didn't even realize this was the penultimate episode of the season. On IMDb, I believe they have listed out 12 episodes, and I just figured the whole season was going to be 12. But what I'm gathering probably now happened is that they have two seasons of 6 episodes that just happen to maybe shoot a lot of it at once to take advantage of, being over there. So I don't know. So yeah, this is the penultimate episode of the season. So the stakes are pretty high. I want to say overall the series kind of recovered from the little bit of fumbling that I believe in the last couple episodes. There, I thought they were buying time, especially thinking this was going to be a 12 episode series. Like I felt like the series was not moving in the right direction, but I think this one definitely course corrects a little bit. It answers some of the questions that were kind of bothering me and things that I wanted to know. So we'll get into all that once I get into spoilers. But overall, this was a much better episode. I don't think it's as strong as the first and second one that I really enjoyed, but it has a lot of really good stuff. Like for different reasons, I think it's probably it's pretty good. It's pretty good as far as all the episodes go. So I would put this maybe in the top three of the five that we've seen. So that's pretty good because, like I said, episodes 3 and 4, man, they were a little bit rough to get through. So I'm gonna get into spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode, make sure to go check it out. Usually, I put these videos out around the time that it airs on TV, but by this point, it's been out on AMC Plus for a little while, which is where I watch it. So let's get into it. We catch up with Daryl and Laurent traveling via boat as we left them on the last episode towards the nest. We meet Alsan, who is the one transporting them. I guess we met him last time, but we really get a little bit more of that character here. One thing I really enjoyed in this episode was that as a story device, Alison was asking Daryl, "How did he get to Paris?" Or how did he come to be? Or excuse me, how did he get to France instead? And yeah, we get flashbacks to Daryl being in the United States and kind of what happened, how he met up with the group that brought him over. We still don't know what their final end goal is, but I think the things are going to be pushed back a little bit. So in the flashbacks, we see Daryl. He's ran out of gas, but he still has his motorcycle, and he runs into some people that I guess they want to capture walkers, probably to do experiments. So they are, asking people like, "Hey, do you want to trade? Or we'll give you gas if you bring us walkers." So like they it's kind of like their own little gig that they gather a lot of people and they're kind of doing that. So so as we're cutting back and forth, uh, Lauren also is has had some tough lessons, I think, in this one episode, because in the monastery, he had been pretty protected as to the real world and the necessities and sometimes the things you have to do to stay alive. But he's now in the real world, especially with Daryl, who's like he's a survivor, right? We've known that there's a character that's lasted a long time in the show, so he's a survivor. We also catch up with Isabel, who is now kind of living at Quinn's mansion, pretty big mansion too. Like it it feels wasteful, almost like in the post-apocalyptic world. Like, how are you generating power? How you have like all this like they still have I guess the comforts of like some of the modern living, and they have assistants and stuff. So I don't know, Quinn's infrastructure of how he is kind of a rich person in the post-apocalyptic era is pretty interesting. But yeah, we see that Quinn is trying to recapture the magic that he had with Isabel. But of course, he's having a little bit of drama with the other girl that we met at the club. So, that's probably going to cause some troubles in the future. We do find out, going back to the flashback, that Daryl is in Maine. He calls Carol, which is really cool. Like, he finds a radio, he calls Carol. They have a little bit of a conversation, and of course, the show is very good at, like, oh, the radio's malfunctioning, but Carol still manages to tease out, saying like, come back. They came back. Like, she, those words are heard through the radio now. If I was a betting person, I would just venture to say that Carol's probably talking about either Rick or Michonne, or both of them, because we know that they will be having their own spin-off show. I think it was supposed to be a movie, but now it's going to be a show. But yeah, they'll be having that. So that's my guess. But it was really interesting, and I mean, it was nice to hear from Carol as well. And like I said, it's really interesting to see how many resources this group has, especially in America. Like, what is the? I guess to me, it's interesting the economy of the post-apocalyptic era. Like, what do they have? How did they get all this? Like, other than through violence, how did they come across all the currency that they're using? So in the present, Daryl, Alison, and Laurent stop to hang out, take a nap, all that stuff, and as part of the trip, Alison is bitten by some walkers as he was out, and Daryl has to put him out. And this is another lesson that Laurent had to learn. Right, he has experienced loss in the past, but nothing like this. I don't think nothing that he. Nothing that he kind of personally knew somebody that you like, seeing somebody die before they turn and something like that. So, uh, also as they're leaving, they realize Daryl realizes that the boat is gone. It appears that Laurent cut it loose for his own. They kind of explore that a little bit. It was really weird to see Daryl yelling at a child. Like, that feels very out of character for him. But the Louis is very good portraying that those feelings coming out of Lauren. Like, he he has so many conflicting emotions. He has a lot of responsibility that's been thrust upon him as this, like, messiah type of figure. But also, he's just a kid too. So yeah, it must be tough having to constantly reassure a child. Like, when you're traveling with them. So yeah, Daryl and him have a really interesting dynamic. So eventually, some people find Daryl. They turned out to be more the Gorilla Boys, which we do find out later. Then we also see Quinn going into this big event that Jeanette is enacting, almost like a celebration of this new found leadership that she has. So she's trying to get all the pieces in place. We do spot in the background some of the people from the roof, including Falo. So I think that'll come into play probably in the next episode. Um, yeah, and of course, as I mentioned, Quinn is betrayed by his ex girlfriend, the girl from the bar. Like, because now that Isabel's back in the picture, she's kind of been put out to the side. Yeah, so she tells Jeanette, like, he kind of double crossed you with Daryl, and now Jeanette is holding pretty much all the cards. We find out that her plan is to use Laurent to consolidate power, right? Because there's people that their hope is that Laurent is the second coming, this messiah figure. So if she controls that and controls the might and the military and the power, then she has everything she needs, right, to put it all together. We get one more flashback to Daryl being taken to the boat. So there's a little bit that happens to get us there, but yeah, we finally get to see Daryl being taken to the boat, being put prisoner. There's a really cool juxtaposition of Jeanette having this speech to her people about her newfound power, this newfound republic that they are founding in France. All that contrast with what we're seeing on the screen, which is Daryl escaping from the boat, like from that, from what led us to episode one. So I will say somehow the boat zombies seem more aggressive than normal, and maybe some of the ones that they were already doing some experiments on. So I think that's gonna definitely be so it's good that we're getting a little bit of clues, but I think it'll be resolved probably next episode we'll figure out what's going on. We'll figure out maybe why there are some zombies that are like burners, and how do they get there. So we close out the episode with like these almost like gladiator games, right? Daryl's brought into this arena. All the people are around. Jeanette is kind of there as the Caesar kind of figure in the Colosseum. It's a very small stage, I will say, for somebody that's trying to consolidate all this power. They picked a really small place to kind of do that demonstration. But I think Jeanette wants to show that as part of the things that she's gathered, this power, it's also this ability to make the zombies even stronger. So they bring in a zombie, they shoot it with some kind of dart, and whatever chemical goes in, and it starts going kind of feral. They give Daryl a weapon, and we cut out like that's where the episode ends. So we're gonna see, is this zombie stronger? Like, what does this chemical do? What is the end goal there for Jeanette? Is it just a show of strength? Is she gonna release more of these? I feel like all that's gonna come back to bite them in the ass. Like, why would you make the zombies stronger and more effective than they already are? So, they already took most of the world. Why would you give them another advantage? So, yeah, I feel like that's all gonna come back and just really not be good for everyone. But we'll see. The finale for the season, sixth episode, is next week, which I was not expecting. It was like when I saw the next episode vignette, I was very surprised that they mentioned on the season finale. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I hope that we have enough time. This was a longer episode. It was about 57 minutes on the app, whereas most of them are usually on the 47-minute timeline, because they cover an hour of television, so that's enough time to put in commercials and stuff. Sometimes on the app you do get like an uncut version of the episodes, but I don't know if that's what's happening here, because I'm not watching the TV ones. So if you've seen the TV ones, let me know. Is it just that 1 hour, or do they go into the next segment for a little bit? So yeah, I'm ready for this finale. I'm glad that people are enjoying and watching these videos, which is one of the reasons I continue to talk about this show. Even though I was very close to dropping the show and stopping doing the videos, but I think this one definitely brought me back in, and we are in for the ride for one more. So, what the hell? Very excited for this. So, as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.